Welcome everybody to another meeting of UFO, Paranormal, and more. I'm your host, Ray Castellani, and I'll announce my guest here in a few minutes. I just want to say something at the meeting I had Sunday the 17th with my Fab Four. There will be no questions on this. And this is the way I got to do it. I did this on Tim Muggesy's show, the 18th. But I've been their voice for over 55 years. Some of the people are seeing part of my 34. Can everybody hear me?
Yes.
Yeah.
And I've been their voice and the voice for the people on the planet. So we had the meeting. I let them say what he had to say, which I'll tell you in a few minutes. And then they were ready to take me back, and I said, no, I'm going to have a meeting with you guys. And this is what I said. When they're out there, off the planet, looking down, they think, when they look at us, they think everything's okay. And I told them, it's not. I know you guys don't know our emotions, but you guys start thinking the way we think. So I told them, I said, you guys, I've been your voice for all this time. Now it's your time to back me up. Whoever it is, to come down on this planet, whoever's the one that's chosen, that won't scare the hell out of everybody, to let them know you're real. Okay? Because what you guys are doing to me, and other people like me, we talk about them, and nothing happens. And it's time. So I gave them the 2018, January 1st. From this time, when that, under 18, till that date, in that year. If nothing's happened, I'm done.
So a couple years.
Then George stepped in and said, Raymond, this will happen way before that date you just said. You've been our friends for a long time. We're going to take care of you. We're going to take care of your people. It was just a week ago, because I won't see him for 2 weeks because they got a lot of things to do. I was talking to Chris in Panama, who's a friend of mine, and he came in and was talking telepathic to me and said, we're going to the great ones. When I was 12 years old, 1959, my first encounter was a little 3-inch guy for a 12-year-old kid. There wasn't a giant ants, one-eyed cyclops, scared him. And so whoever they're going to pick to come down here to be the voice, because everything's getting real close. The solar systems all over are changing. The shifts that we're going to have from 2016 to 2017. The weather that's changing down here, and it's going to be unbelievable as we move forward. There's so many things that's going to happen. And I also told them, whoever does come down here, the people that are ready now to go into the new earth, 4th and 5th, there will be more people want to come on board. The people that ain't going to go is the people that kill and steal, anything negative. Because there's going to be nothing negative in the new earth. So this is kind of what I did. And Chris in Panama, it's already up there on my Facebook and my YouTube channel. She translated my part 1 life story and all my drawings in French to people in France. So anybody that speaks French, like Canada, Haiti, Africa, that's going to hit them people. Rosa and Boris Gonzalez, they're both from originally Mexico. They live in New York. They got a hold of this Edwin Garcia. I think he was on Monster Quest because I know what he's talking about. He has a big-time talk show, radio station in Mexico. And he wants my life story, my drawings out there, because George wants me to get pretty much globally with my life story and my drawings. I just talked to Edwin Garcia yesterday. We were writing on Skype, because he's real busy. We're doing some shows. But he's going to set that up. And when I do that, then I'll put that on my Facebook so everybody knows when that will happen and when that thing's done and taped and everything. So that's about it, 10 minutes. So that's what was said in this meeting. So I'm just letting everybody know whether, I get people in this room, everybody's entitled to their own opinion. Love me, hate me, believe me, or don't. You got that. I don't care who you are. I'm just giving you information that came out of this meeting. That's it. The lady you're about to hear tonight, a friend in California, by the name of Sandy Tripp and her husband Tony Tripp. This lady's going to put her on regression, and because she's an abductee and a contactee. She's done a lot of regressions, and she's from Claremont, California. And I've seen her video. She was very impressive. I mean, she's just really great in person. With just that, I want everybody to give a warm welcome to Barbara Lamb.
Hello,
Thank
Barbara.
you. Welcome to our group.
Okay, Barb, start off with how you got into this, a little bit about yourself, and then go from there, and then take it away.
Okay. Well, first of all, I'm a long-time, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay. First of all, I'm a long-time psychotherapist, working with regular people who have all kinds of, disturbing things going on, problems and so forth. And I was licensed way back in 1976. And then by the 1980s, I started getting training to be a past life regression therapist. And I had that training for 5 years, and that was really excellent. I found out during some of those regressions, a few of them, that people whom I was regressing had actually had past lives as extraterrestrial beings. So that was a surprise, but it brought my attention to that subject, and I became interested. And then by 1991, my first client came to me for regression work or any kind of therapy I could do to help her, because she had been having very upsetting visits by unusual beings in her bedroom at night, again and again. And she was really terrified and traumatized. And so her mother asked if I would do some work with her to help her with that. So at that point, I wasn't quite sure what I was getting into, but I plunged ahead, and lo and behold, she was having experiences very frequently with what we have come to call extraterrestrial beings. And so that was the beginning of this part of my work, which has been so important for me now. I've been doing 25 years of work with regressing many people to the details of their extraterrestrial encounters. So that has really been fascinating. And during that time, I also had the great privilege of talking to, actually having many conversations with an extraterrestrial being who was being challenged, or channeled, I should say, being channeled through one of my extraterrestrial experiencer clients, whom I worked with for 11 years. So this got me so interested not only in what was happening to people and trying to help them with that, but it got me very interested in the beings, the extraterrestrial beings themselves, and wanting to know as much as I could about them. So there have been at least 1,700 and a few more people whom I have regressed to the details of their extraterrestrial encounters. And so with all of that work, actually it was about 2,300 regressions I did, because some of them could do quite a number of regressions with me. So boy, did that give me a lot of knowing about this whole phenomenon and its importance. And then, of course, running right along with this, I was speaking at various conferences, and starting in about 1992, and many groups and conferences. And so I always get to hear the other speakers, you know, the ones who are researching about the UFOs themselves, and what does the government know and what does the government not know, and crashes of UFOs and crash retrievals. And so it's just been extremely wonderful and extremely interesting, and I feel like I'm very involved in this whole subject. So during these same 25 years, I've been also a researcher of the crop circle phenomenon. And for 24 years, I went to England every summer and researched the crop circles. And for probably about 12 years, I actually conducted groups into the crop circles. So boy, was that fun. That is really quite an adventure. And so for a week at a time, these groups would come with me into crop circles, and we'd meet some of the other crop circle researchers, and well, just have one adventure after the other over the countryside, that beautiful countryside in mostly Wiltshire County, England. So the crop circles, I think, are very connected with my extraterrestrial interest, too, because I think that most of the crop circles, in my opinion, and from my research, most of them are genuine. And that means that they are made by non-humans. They're made by some other intelligence that seems to come from somewhere else in the universe, as far as I can determine. And they leave special energies and special effects that people can measure and people can feel these differences in energy. So there really is something happening there, aside from the hoaxed or the man-made crop circles. So these two areas of interest have tended to be, really fascinating to me. It's never paled off with me. You know, they keep on being just as interesting. And then I must mention one other aspect. I found out through the regressions I was doing with so many people, women and men also, that they were having reproductive material taken from them by some of the extraterrestrial beings, definitely not all of them. And then there was a reproductive program going on so that hybrid beings were being produced. Now, for, I'd say 19 of my 25 years, it seemed like all of those hybrids who were being created and who lived even to adulthood, that they were living on the ships, the UFOs. But then, very excitingly, about 5 years ago, maybe 6, at one of the International UFO Congress meetings, conferences, I just happened to stand next to a woman whom I had not seen before. And when I looked at her, I must have done a double take. And she said, "What?" I said, "Why are you looking at me that way?" And I said, "Well, I hope you don't mind my saying this, but you remind me of a hybrid." And she smiled and she said, "I am a hybrid." So I said, "Wow, I've got to get to know you." And we have gotten to know each other and love each other and respect each other tremendously. So she is the first person whom I met, whom I felt convinced was that mixture of extraterrestrial genetics and human genetics. So about 2 years after that, at another UFO Congress, somebody brought a lady over to introduce to me, and I took one look at this woman, and I did another double take, and she said, "What?" And I said, "Well, I hope you don't mind my saying this, but you remind me of a mantis being, mantis extraterrestrial being." And she said, "Good for you. I am a mantis being." So I got to know her, and actually a year or so later, she spent a whole week with me, and I was very fond of her, and really observed different abilities that she had. So with the first hybrid lady and the second hybrid lady, I thought, oh, these are really amazing people. They've got so many psychic, intuitive abilities, and they have healing abilities, and they're very high consciousness people, and they're here to serve humanity in a couple of different ways, depending on which person we're talking about. So that really brought my interest to the ET human hybrids. And I have followed through with that interest. In fact, in 2011, the annual MUFON Symposium had asked me months ahead of time if I would give a lecture called ET Human Hybrids, Are They Real and Are They Here? So having known these two hybrids, I met a third woman who claims to be a reptilian human hybrid. Had many, many discussions with her. And so I included that in my lecture to the MUFON Symposium, and talking mostly about the different generations of the hybrids that live on the UFOs, and then finishing with these three people who are hybrids living on Earth. So that really was sort of a whole new, very exciting aspect to my life and my work. And then last spring, 2015, I was receiving some phone calls and some emails from a man in England named Miguel Mendonça, and he had discovered some of my lectures and interviews on YouTube. The lectures particularly he was interested in that were about the hybrids. He also was very interested in ET human hybrids and was thinking he would like to write a book on it, but he'd like to consult with me because I knew so much more at that point than he did. So I agreed. We decided to be co-authors, and we did write the book Meet the Hybrids, which is the name of the book, Meet the Hybrids, and the subtitle is ET Ambassadors on Earth, or actually the lives and missions of ET ambassadors on Earth. So this book we worked on for about 7 months, and we did extensive, really long, in-depth interviews with 8 people whom we trust are ET human hybrids, and it all resulted in writing the book, which is now available on Amazon.com, Meet the Hybrids by Miguel Mendonça and Barbara Lamb. So this is our new baby, shall we say, recently born. And of course, we're proud parents. But also, we're just so pleased to know these 8 people whom we do trust are real hybrid people. They have a lot of extraterrestrial genetics in them, and they also have continuing visits from those beings that they have the genetics of. And so they too are experiencers of extraterrestrial contact. They also have a lot of guidance from their extraterrestrial beings. So it's very helpful for that because they're all doing missions. They're all doing special work here on Earth. Some of them sort of overlap in the type of services they do, and some of them have unique services that the other don't. But they're all very high consciousness, spiritually oriented people, supported by, encouraged by their extraterrestrial beings. So it is such a privilege to know them and to know that this is going on the Earth, that we have people who are actually in human bodies, but they are so much more too. They bring so much more to us, really from a higher plane. So I've been saying a lot, and wonder if you'd like to make any comments or anybody has questions at this point.
Barbara, we got some questions here. Frank, Lupo, go ahead.
Okay.
Yeah, have you ever had any experience with feline beings?
Feline cat? Feline cat. A feline cat.
There are some beings, extraterrestrial beings, who resemble, in a way, our feline cats. Sometimes people refer to them as the cat beings or the feline beings. We have to realize those are just our names for them. They have other names for themselves, depending on which planet they come from. But those have been considered by people I know who have encounters with them. They've been considered very favorable beings, nice beings, high consciousness, kind, and so forth. They're very much liked by the people who have visits from them. Is there a reason for asking that question?
Yeah, I'm a contactee, and I have contact with feline.
You know, I can just barely hear that, but
He's a contactee, and he has a contactee with a feline cat that's been a special friend of his. What's her name?
oh, good.
Buggeet?
Bagit.
Buggeet is her female
Yeah.
feline cat name. Buggeet.
What's her name? Okay. And could he come closer to the mic? And because it would be interesting to talk with him.
Sit in my seat, Craig.
Remember the mic, but your mic's going away. The mic's right there.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yeah, I'd really like to. Hi.
Hi, my
I'd
name's
really
Frank.
like to hear what you are saying, and I want to hear you. So you have visits from a feline being?
I made contact about 3.5 years ago. And
Mhm.
I initiated contact through meditation.
Oh, good.
Yes, and it came through when I started to investigate James Gilliland and the East City
Oh,
Ranch.
yeah.
And so she came to me, and she's been like my best friend for 3.5 years. And
Who has been your best friend?
Bagit,
The
Her
cat.
Oh, the feline being.
yeah, her name's
Uh-huh.
Bagit. I have a tattoo of her. I don't know if you can see it.
Well,
Oh, there it is.
oh yes, now I can.
Yeah,
Oh, that's lovely.
yeah, she's
How did you
amazing.
get an artist to do that?
It was a tattoo guy. We got the rendition off the internet from James Gilliland, who had an
Oh, yeah.
encounter. He had an encounter with her, and he had an artist do a
Yes.
rendition. So she's been my.
Yes.
She comes to me in spirit.
Oh, listen, that's wonderful. So does she take you on board at all?
No, I haven't been on board yet. They fly over my house a lot.
Oh, uh-huh.
And I've been trying to get them to take me on board. They call me the squeaky wheel because every time I talk to them, I always tell them I want to get on board. You know.
But they haven't done it yet, right?
No, they haven't done it yet.
Do they come into the house?
Well, she's with me in spirit all the time. And,
Really?
and so they don't come in physically. She just
Okay.
comes in a spirit form, and we just have a special connection. I believe it's a soul connection. You know, I was told that I was a feline in another life,
Oh, okay.
and my name was Sinan, and
Okay.
she's hails from Sirius.
Okay, from Sirius?
Yes.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense. Uh-huh.
And even though I
Oh,
can't see her, but we have a gifted person in my group named Karen, who's a seer,
Yeah.
and she saw her, and she described to me what she looks like because I can't see her. And it was an amazing
Yes.
experience, you know, hearing about her. So that's all I want to say. I'll let these other guys talk now, and I'm having an amazing experience.
Okay.
What's your name?
Frank Lupo.
Frank? Okay.
I can give you my email address if you want to hear some more.
Yes, okay.
It's wolf.man.
Okay, wolf, what?
Man
Man, wolf.man.
at inbox.com. Inbox, INBOX.
Oh, I don't know that one. Okay.
So email
Okay.
me. I can tell you the rest of my story.
Okay.
Gee, Frank, you know, first of all, before you go, I'm very impressed and interested that you, through meditation, actually managed to initiate contact. And could you say a little bit more about how you do that? Because people ask me a lot, you know, people who have not had experiences, they ask, can I initiate it? And I say, yes, I think you can. But anyway, any method that you could share would be helpful, and I'll share it with other people.
Okay. Well, I believe that I have a deep connection with her. And so, so when I saw her likeness, she seemed familiar to me.
Okay.
And I wasn't afraid at all, you know. And James Gilliland had a video, and he was describing her in his video, and he showed a picture of her. And so I started meditating on her face and just asking her to come and visit me and hang out because I'm not afraid and I want to make contact. And I did that for about 15 minutes, some out loud and some in my mind. But, you know, I did it with my heart, you know, with my heart, and I wasn't scared.
Yeah.
And that's basically all I did.
Okay.
Yeah, I think, you know, that is important. And I actually, in 1994, I initiated contact with beings who took me for the making of a crop circle. And I did the same thing, except that I was I was driving in one of the Southern California freeways
Right.
for about 45 minutes. And just before going to England that summer, 1994, and so while I was driving, you know, holding onto the steering wheel, and watching for traffic, I was speaking out loud to the beings who make the crop circles. I didn't know who they were or I couldn't picture them, but I was honoring them and loving them, thanking them, and I could feel my heart just glowing and expanding. And I really meant it. Please, I honor you so much. You know, please take me for the making of a crop circle when I'm in England. And then about 3 weeks later, when I was in England, I had been there for about 3 weeks, and I suddenly thought, gee, I don't think it's happened. I don't think I've been taken for the making of a crop circle. So when I went to bed that night, knowing that the next day would be my last chance that year to go out and look for crop circles, I asked again, this time in my mind, and turned off the lamp, and then I could see 3 little beings approaching me, and they actually, I became switched off out of awareness, but the very next morning, I was the first one to find a new crop circle, and was the first one in it with a couple of friends. And when I got home, I had a colleague who dressed me, and yes, indeed, those 3 little beings took me onto a little craft, and we went through the details. It was very vivid of making a crop circle from this little craft. And it was so perfect that I just happened, by synchronicity, to be the first one to find that very same crop circle the next day. It had been made that night when I was on the little craft. So, Frank, I can really appreciate and believe that in meditation, you know, really asking and meaning it and feeling it in your heart, that you could initiate contact. Because I did. I could really believe you.
Right.
Yeah, thank you so much.
And it's great.
But,
My experience has been great.
Good question.
yes,
Okay,
mine was too. And,
thanks, Frank.
uh,
Okay, we got some more,
yeah, thank you, Frank.
we got some more questions,
Yes.
Barbara. Marcy,
Okay,
speak up loud.
Well, you're gonna tell her because she's not
Come
gonna
over,
hear.
come
She's
over
not
here with
gonna
your
hear.
chair. Come on, grab that
You know,
chair.
I'm gonna hit you for this. Okay, can you hear me okay?
Barbara, this
Can you
is
hear me?
Marcy.
hello, Marcy.
Hi, Barbara. I had a couple questions. One, on the hybrids, the group or the people that you knew, do they communicate, I guess they do, with each other? And how are they,
I'm sorry, but
do they
not quite
communicate?
hearing your words.
Do the hybrids communicate with each other? What did you say?
Oh, yes, oh, definitely. You mean the hybrids who are living here?
Yes.
Yes, they are. In fact, a few of these people knew each other before we started interviewing them, and then the others have since then come to know each other. And a very exciting thing
So,
is that next month, well, this month, in February, middle of February, there's going to be another big international UFO Congress, and then I'm going to be giving a lecture, and 6 of our 8 hybrids are going to be there on the stage with me. They'll each have a chance to speak for themselves. So those 6 will definitely get to know each other. There were 2 other hybrids in our book, but they live in England and they weren't able to come over. But they're getting to know each other. And all of them have said that they would really appreciate knowing other people who are hybrids,
So they,
because they could form a very effective community of working to help humanity. Do you relate to that particularly, but
no,
the hybrids?
just curious.
Right.
So the ones that are like here in the United States or even on Earth here, they can't easily communicate with each other?
Yeah, you know, somehow I'm just not hearing that very clearly.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, yes.
Okay. So the ones that are here, they cannot like easily communicate telepathically or any way with each other? They have to be like introduced to them?
No, well, they can. Some of them have communicated telepathically, and some of them have met physically It's some of both, actually.
Okay.
But at this point, they've all expressed real eagerness in being able to come together with other people who are hybrids.
Okay.
Do you ask this because you think you might be a hybrid?
She's just asking a question, that's all.
I'm not that far along here.
That you know of. That you know of, Marty.
Ask her about if the crop circles have messages, that she's aware of that, would you please?
She wants to know if the crop circles have messages.
Oh, I think they do.
Yeah, I do too.
Yeah, they
What
have
are
some
they?
codes and symbols, definitely, and messages. Some of them we can recognize more easily than other ones. Some of them just look like absolutely beautiful, geometrically perfect patterns, and we could take them as such. It's beautiful artwork, but some of them are predicting astronomical events. Quite a number of them have, over the years, predicting eclipses or the Shoemaker-Levy comet hitting Jupiter in 1994, and all kinds of sun cycles, moon cycles, Saros cycles, very, 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 very long sun cycles, and some of them, well, there have been some later ones, like in the early 2000s, that showed extraterrestrial beings and messages from them. One of them in 2002 showed a typical, what we think of as an alien head holding an information disk, and that the message decoded on that disk was really warning humanity to watch out for, be aware of the lies and the deceit that are fed to us, presumably mostly by our governments. And they say they abhor lies, they treasure truth, and just be aware of some of the information we're being fed, and watch out for, they didn't say specifically, but they were implying our nuclear capability, and they said there's a lot of good out there in their species, I think they mean, and to wake up essentially and
Understand?
pay attention. Yeah, and so that was a very potent message that came through that crop circle. So there really are lots of different interpretations of the crop circle patterns. And one of the interesting things is that so many people from different areas of learning, different disciplines, give their opinions about certain crop circle formations. I've learned a lot just from other people's takes on some of the patterns. Some of them are real spiritual patterns, like the flower of life pattern, and the Jewish menorah was a beautiful crop circle pattern, and the Kabbalah, tree of life, and the Christian cross, done in a number of different ways over the years in various crop circles. Even the mandala, the yin-yang from the ancient Asian tradition. And we have the five-pointed Star of David showing up in various formations. And the petals of life, the Vesica Pisces, it just goes on and on. Yeah, so for some people, certain patterns have great meaning, and maybe not to other people who don't know that particular meaning, and yet other patterns will mean something to them.
Seen it in a go box.
So it's wonderful when we get a lot of different input into any one pattern, which I've been really privileged to be able to do. Yeah, it's an amazing phenomenon, and it's still going on.
Yes, it is, I know what you mean. Anybody else got any questions?
Nope.
Okay, well,
My wife goes first.
we'll go with Ray, you sit here. We got about 3 or 4 more. Keep them coming.
Hi Barbara, my name is Cora.
Hello.
I get telepathic messages via Ray's group.
Could you get closer to his microphone?
Yeah, give her the.
Nothing personal, Ian.
We're good friends anyway, so he's like my brother.
Oh, that's nice. You look good together.
Oh, thank
Oh,
you.
wait a minute, wait now, wait a minute.
You started some shit now, go ahead.
I'm right behind him, so I think Ray's okay.
Okay,
So-
good.
Bad division. Go ahead.
We don't want to cause any problems.
No. I get telepathic messages via Ray's Fabulous Floor, and we had confirmation and validation because they give me personal information about Ray that I was able to find out was very accurate, that nobody except for him knew about. And I have visions and whatnot, and one on July 8th of last year, it was like 1 or 3 o'clock in the morning or so, I woke up because I saw these lights, and it was kind of like yellow and green swirling around, and there was all of these symbols that were floating around in the air. And I copied them down after the vision and whatnot, but I'd like close my eyes and open them, and it was almost like a kaleidoscope, that the children play with. They spin them around.
Oh, yeah.
And it was the most beautiful thing. It went on for at least 15 to 20 minutes.
Wow.
And so I find that kind of thing fascinating. I hear music when I'm going to sleep.
Is that a heartbeat?
No. Could be ET, go ahead.
Yeah, I also hear music I'm believing it's from other dimensions, that I'm kind of tapping into other dimensions. Things like trumpets and pipe organs, laughing and singing, and I hear those when I'm starting to go to sleep. It's happened 2 or 3 times now. I also see spirit beings in my house every once in a while. Now, I've always grown up, very psychically and whatnot, and have seen spirits, people who have passed away and whatnot. So that part isn't unusual to me. And since I moved to St. Louis from Canada, I have also seen probably 8 starcraft now as well. So I get messages that they're there, and I've actually taken pictures, and then we could see black spots sometimes where they were cloaking themselves, but I've actually captured them on my camera and whatnot as well. So do you know anything about the symbols or anything like that that I might be seeing, or have any perspective on that?
We're good.
Okay, we're back. Did
Hi.
you, go ahead and answer Corraine's question about the symbols.
Oh, I asked her if she had any pictures of them here.
Yes,
See?
yes, she does. She's
It's gonna
gonna,
be hard to see them.
it's gonna be hard, they're real tiny though in her book.
Oh, no, there they are.
Can you see them?
Yes, okay. Oh, yeah, okay.
She recognized.
Some of those are familiar.
Yeah.
Yes, there's, the one in the middle is a spiral, and there are a number of crop circles over the years that have been in the form of a beautiful spiral like that. And some of them actually in the field looked like a 3-dimensional spiral. They looked like a portal or a wormhole. And they looked so much more 3-dimensional than they actually were. So that was really thrilling. And then you've got one near the bottom of the page that's sort of a double spiral, a spiral at the top, spiraling down to a second, yes, that one, Okay, there was a crop circle several years ago that looked almost exactly like that. And it was a beauty. It was absolutely wonderful. And my friends and I really felt that was a very spiritual symbol, like a two-ended spiral. There was another one there too that I'd like to comment on. Okay, right below the center spiral, you have a triangle with a dot in the middle.
Yes.
No, move it over a little bit more to the side,
The other way.
the other way.
There it is.
Yeah, there.
Oh, right there.
Right in the middle. There's a triangle with a dot in it. Only a very, very few times have there been crop circles done in the shape of a triangle. And we always consider that really unique because crop circles usually have rounded forms. But the triangle seems to be meaning something. And I think that's a very, very good symbol. See, there was another one too. If you move it the other way, yeah, okay, and then up a little bit. Yeah, there, okay, over on the right. Yeah, there's another, it's very simple, but it's another one of those simple spiral ones. Move it back a little bit again to the other, yes, there you go. And so that seems to have a spiritual kind of meaning to it. I can't be very specific about that. And then if you move up, okay, and then over to the other side. Oh, that one, that's good too. Yeah, there was the one with the arrow pointing into it.
Yeah.
Well, there was a crop circle several years ago that had, it looked like a comet plunging right down toward the circle. And there was also, as if, you know, a planet going to hit maybe a meteor about to hit a planet. And there also was one, like that symbol you just showed with us, an actual triangle with a beam of light coming down in it and striking the triangle and causing what looked like a beam of light.
Wow.
So you have in that collection of symbols, some of the symbols that have been made as crop circles.
Wow.
It's very exciting to see that.
Okay, Barb, we got Andy coming up.
Okay,
Use this, 10%.
Hello,
hello, Andy.
how are you?
I'm just fine, enjoying myself very much
So am I. I think we all
with your
are.
interesting group.
What do you guys,
I wish I could be right there with you,
Okay, wait a minute.
That would be great. That would be great.
eating dinner too.
Okay, wait a minute, wait a minute. Wait a minute.
I'll have to wait a while for that.
Barb, wait a minute. Wait a minute. What do you guys think of Barb so far?
Yay.
Hey!
Yeah.
Okay,
Clapping for?
you.
You.
Oh.
I asked everybody what they thought of you so far, that's why you got that warm up.
Oh, okay, that's nice, thank you.
My question concerns identifying hybrids.
Oh, yeah?
Now, obviously, it wouldn't be any problem at all if you were in a room full of people and they disclosed themselves to everybody. But what
Right.
I'd like to know is, if you were in a room full of people that contained one or more hybrids, and, you know, say like at a conference or a meeting such as this or anything,
Mhm.
if they remained silent and they did not disclose themselves, you know, the fact to anyone that they were a hybrid, would there be a way that you could tell? Are there any telltale signs that, where you can identify them? And if so, what are they?
With only one of these hybrids, actually the very first one I met, would you maybe wonder about her because she's a very attractive blonde female here, human, but she also has eyes that are considerably larger than our eyes, and that's what attracted me at first to intuitively think, oh, maybe she's a hybrid.
Were they blinking? Were the eyes blinking?
No, they were not blinking. I mean, maybe they blinked in a normal way, but I didn't notice any blinking. But she was the only one of the hybrids I've known. So I know, I would say at least 12 people by now. I know 12 people whom I believe are hybrids. But if they were in a room with other people, I don't think you would notice anything remarkably different. And so I want to say that these hybrids have all been born here on Earth to human mothers, but they do have a lot of influence and even some genetics from their extraterrestrial beings, or most of them call them their star beings. Yeah.
Okay, now let me ask you this. If you were also a hybrid, would you then be able to identify other hybrids more easily, since if you were already one?
Oh, that's a really good question. Well, I don't know if you would immediately by looks, but they are very tuned into frequencies. So if two hybrids who didn't know each other were in the same room and could come into reasonable proximity of each other, they would very likely pick up the different frequency of that other person who would be a hybrid, and then they would be likely to start talking to that other person, and then it would probably come out that they both share being a hybrid being. And you see, there are quite a number of different species who have made these hybrids. These people, the 8 hybrids that we've written about in the book, between them, or amongst them, I should say, they have about 15 different species in the 8 of them. So some of them have more than one species in them. And
does that mean they mated with each other?
Actually, there are 2 of them, 2 of our hybrids. One's a... What's that?
Does that mean they
Sorry?
They mated with each other, possibly?
I didn't hear that.
Did they possibly mate with each other?
Well, I don't think so. They don't think so. But a man and a woman amongst our hybrids, when they met each other here on Earth, in a regular human setting, they picked up the frequency that each other had, and they both felt really happy, and they went to each other and started talking. And in their case, they did a certain gesture, which they, from the mantis beings, the mantis extraterrestrials that they both are composed of, and they did what they called the mantis bow. In other words, something they did with their hands. I don't know, I didn't see it, so I don't know if it was the prayer type of hand, but some hand movement, hand and arm movement, and they did that to each other, the mantis bow, and then they said, "How did you know that?"
See, they picked up on it. I see.
And they explained. So they realized that they both had a lot of mantis in them, and were also having very positive experiences with the mantis beings. So to answer your question, I think it wouldn't be so much a visual thing that they would recognize each other, but more of a frequency, a vibrational thing
I see.
that would feel familiar to them and different from all the other humans in the room.
Well, thank you for answering that. We've got some more questions here.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay,
Hold
thank
it.
you.
Hold it, Ian, hold it.
Ask how the ones on the ships look.
One thing I want to say, can you hear me?
Yes?
Okay. The Nardiks and his wife, that's part of my Fab Four on the graph when I had meetings, they were telling me, they stand up, they're far apart, they're holding their hands and closing their hands together, and their eyes are closed, and this blue ball is spinning down in between them. And when that blue ball disappears, it's either a boy or a girl.
Oh,
And that's how they have their children, through this energy, the technology of the Nordiques.
oh,
And what you were saying about the mantis, the way they do their thing, that's all I want to say there. I'm going to let Ian talk. Is there anybody else after Ian? Okay, Pat. We got two more people. Come on up here.
Okay. Let's do this. Okay. All right. Hello, my name's Ian, I'm Praise husband.
hello.
Here we go, go ahead.
And you're
And
not,
I'm also his cameraman and technician. I have a couple of questions. One is, in terms of hybrids,
yes?
a lot has been made about how the mothers of the hybrids feel victimized because, of course, their children have been taken away. So have any of the hybrids that you've met or that they've met and told you about tried to seek out their mothers when they started living back on Earth?
Well, all of the hybrids that have been living on the ships are not the hybrids who live here.
I understand that.
The ones who live on the ships are not a large enough proportion of human to withstand our environment and our viruses, our bacteria, and so forth. And also, they would look different enough that they probably would have a difficult time getting along here socially. So the mothers who have hybrid children of that type, they never get to have those children here on Earth. But they do get taken by their extraterrestrials sometimes and are put in a room to meet their hybrid children. Some of them, like my co-author of my second book, which is called Alien Experiences, she kept seeing sort of an unusual looking, very pale little girl through the years when she was taken to her ET experiences. And finally, when this little girl had grown up and looked like she might be in her early 20s, my friend Nadine realized that, oh, I get it, she's my hybrid daughter. That's why she's always hanging around me here when I'm on the ship. But she never was able to bring that child back. Now, some of the women I've regressed who know that they have hybrid children and they have visited them on the ships, they really wish, some of them do, they wish they could bring those children back here and raise them on Earth as their own children, even though they look substantially different than most human children. But they're always told by the adult ETs that those children would not survive here. They have to remain there on the ship, or in some cases on the other planet. Yeah, but some people, like I know a lady who thinks that she's been told by extraterrestrials that she has 35 hybrid children, all of whom live on the ship. And speaking of hybrids, there is a hybrid children community website, and I know the people who have made that website and keep it up, and they are very, very interested in the hybrid children who do live on the ship. Yeah, and apparently a lot of them are now living on a mothership that is hovering, maybe a couple of thousand miles above Arizona, and particularly the Sedona area, waiting for humans to get it together and designate a nice parcel of land for these children to come and live on. So those children must be enough human in their makeup, that it's thought that they could survive and hopefully thrive here.
But okay, what about the hybrids that you've met, the human-looking hybrids? Have any of them wanted to seek out their human parents?
The hybrids I've met all do know their human parents.
Oh, okay.
Because they were born through a human mother. Okay, so they were affected. Some of these hybrids were affected when they were fetuses in their mother's wombs. In other words, the mother was taken while pregnant, and on the ship, the ETs injected DNA from 1, 2, or 3, or maybe even 4 ET species, injected that through the abdomen of the mother, and the wall of the womb, and into the fetus. And so by the time the fetus was born, that fetus was already a hybrid, was already a mixture. In another case, the mother's reproductive material and the father's reproductive material, both of them humans, regular humans, that material was taken from the mother and father by the ETs and mixed together very carefully and combined with genetics from the extraterrestrials. And then that mixture, that little embryo in a little petri dish type of thing, was then implanted during an abduction, implanted into the mother's womb. And so she was pregnant then, and she gestated that fetus to full term and gave birth, and that's one of our hybrids.
Right.
That happened to one of the men hybrid. He was told that that's how that happened for him.
Okay, thanks.
Thank you. But Ray had something to say, and he had one more question after that. So I think.
Yeah, we got 3 more questions. Hell, we might have more. But anyway, these,
Okay.
I'm not going to mention her name. She's a good friend of mine. And it was about midnight, I guess, because she had called me. But this is what was happening in her life. Because I understand when they take our women up and artificial get them pregnant, okay, where it's half human, half alien. They came down to her door, and there was a knock. And when she opened the door, this little girl, alien and human looking, she knew right away that that little girl was hers. Now the 2 grays that she was telling me were standing behind her, she wanted, well, all the women want their child, even though it's hybrid.
Yeah.
And they said, no, but you can see her like this, spend time with her outside or in your house. And she wanted to take her.
Yeah.
Well, this one evening she had called me, and she was explaining this to me. because this happens quite a bit to her. And all I told her was, if you say no, they'll never be in your life again, because it was tearing her up. That she wanted this child, she knew this child was hers, she didn't care if it was half alien, half Wakaduka, she didn't give a shit. She knew it was her kid. And,
Sure.
and I understood that. But
Yeah,
as a human and a woman, knowing that this was her child, it was really hard for her to say no. And that's kind of what she did, because she was married and she was in a situation that he's not going to understand. But it was really a difficult situation. And these are some of the things I heard through her. Did you hear anything like that?
well, not specifically, but you're pointing to the fact that human mothers very often have a strong, strong maternal feeling for their hybrid child. And I've personally known and worked with many women who have really wanted to be able to bring those children back and, raise them here, or see them as often as possible. The woman who has 35 hybrid children,
Wow.
yeah, and all of whom live on the ships. They're not here. And she's a woman who is now in her late 60s, but so these children were taken earlier in her life. That is, her eggs were taken earlier from her ovaries. And so these children, some of them have grown up, some of them are like 19, 20, 21, 22 years old. And so she has a very, very loving feeling. And she wanted to know if she had actually met any of them. So we did a regression, and it took us to a time when this woman had been out in the country near woods. And and this was here in California, and she sort of felt beckoned to go into the woods. She didn't know why, but she felt drawn almost, and she went in there, and there was one of her hybrid children, who at the time was a young teenager, and she got to know that hybrid child, and she feels that they correspond telepathically, even from the ship to her being here on Earth. And she's had once she uncovered that in regression, that she had met one, then she began to consciously remember incidents where, it was beginning to sort of filter through her memory, where she has met quite a few of the others. So she has names for them and refers to them very, very fondly, very lovingly by name. She's gradually, once in a while, having a chance to meet with one or two or three of them, and she's absolutely thrilled. And she's not married, so she was a long time ago, but she's not now. And so it's not a complicating feature in her life that she has these contacts with these beings. Yeah, it's amazing the intensity of the love of the women I know who have hybrid children that they have for them. Now, on the other hand, there are many instances of women who've had eggs taken from their ovaries, and then a little while later they realize that they are pregnant, and they may not remember the occasion, the abduction, the experience of having that implanted, but they're pregnant for a while. You've probably heard this before, and they'll go to their regular medical doctor, and he'll say, "Oh, yes, you're pregnant." And the woman might say, "But I haven't been with a man for 2 years. I mean, how could I be pregnant?" And he said, "Well, maybe you forgot." Anyway,
just gonna
Maybe
forget
it's
that.
fine.
Very true.
I don't think so.
She's got an address way out there, I know.
I've never had
Yeah.
anybody say that.
So they'll,
Okay.
anyway, they're pregnant for 2.5 months, and all the signs and validations that they're pregnant, and then suddenly they're not pregnant anymore. And that's because that little embryo has been taken from the body and will be gestated in the ship, in a special tank on the ship. And then the mother will sometimes be taken to see that baby in the gestation tank. Sometimes they'll be taken to see the baby after it's been quote unquote born from the gestation tank and is wrapped up in some kind of clothing. And then many other times after that. So sometimes these people remember those things consciously, and sometimes they don't remember consciously, but it comes out in the regressions.
Okay.
Okay. Now my other question, I got two more. One's a real quick one. That'll be the last one. I know we got other people. In terms of the crop circles, what do you think of the debunkers who have yet to explain how any human or group of humans could create something so intricate so quickly, but yet they don't believe that they were created by something else, but yet they can't tell you how humans could do it? It boggles my mind how they can say, okay, this must have been made by man, but they can't say how. And the other question is, my wife wanted me to ask more about regression, but I don't know what specifically. So yeah.
Okay, well, let's,
Huh?
Like regression.
What about it?
Well, come on, you just gotta get the
Explain
question.
about how.
Ian,
Gaslight regression.
Ian,
Yes.
let's, why don't we just do one question at a time?
Yeah.
Okay.
Stick with the one you said.
About the crop circles first.
Okay.
And now I've kind of forgotten what that question was.
All right. What your thoughts are on the debunkers who keep saying these crop circles must be human-made, but they can't explain how humans can make them so intricately and so quickly, but yet they deny the possibility that they're made by something else. Well, most of us, of course, believe they were made by something else. I was wondering what you thought about that.
Okay, yeah, there's a great answer for that too.
Pat.
Most people do not actually have the experience of going into a crop circle. So most of them don't get to experience what I'm going to be talking about. But in the genuine crop circles, which usually are the most beautiful and complex and fantastic, in those crop circles there is definitely a change of energy. And this energy can be detected by various means. Some people can just feel it with their hands as they're walking through a crop circle. Some people can see it moving a pendulum if they're holding a pendulum, or dowsing rods. I always go in with dowsing rods that show if there's an increase in energy or change in energy. And some people go on with scientific indications like electrostatic voltmeters and magnetometers. So the genuine crop circles have this energy which can be detected and measured in various ways. The man-made crop circles absolutely do not. They have no change or increase of energy whatsoever. So people who actually go into the crop circles, like I've been so fortunate to go into, probably 1,300 of them over the years. We know that from our own experience. People who don't even go near any crop circles, they have no way of knowing that from their personal experience. And so it's much more baffling to them. But how could they be created by men? Now, men can do a very nice crop circle if they have enough time and enough people.
That's what I said.
And if it's done in the light of day, but still, those crop circles will not have any changes in the plants as the genuine ones do, and they won't have any changes in the energy.
Okay, Barb. We got, Pat, she's our next one with questions. Very good.
Okay, back to the hybrids.
Okay?
Do you have any idea how many there are in Earth right now? Do you think the number is increasing? And can you comment on, since they know what their mission is, what you believe their mission is, and specifically what
Okay.
you talk to?
Yes. First of all, it would just be a wild guess to guess how many hybrids are on Earth, but if I, as one person, happen to know 12 of them that I feel really certain about, and I'm just one person among how many billion are we now in the Earth? Chances are pretty likely that there are some more hybrids, probably in various countries all over the world, I would think. And I know quite a few other people, probably about another 12 people whom I personally I think that they could very likely be hybrids, but I don't know that. I haven't really talked with them in enough depth to actually know that. But I would think that there really are quite a number worldwide. That would certainly be my guess. And now let's see, what was the next question?
Well, do you think that the number is increasing because of the fact that they are on a specific mission, and you know what the mission is?
I think, yeah, good for you. These are great questions. I think that most likely the number is increasing. The reason I think that is because the world has so many problems. Humanity, there are a lot of really good, wonderful people, and there are a lot of people who dysfunctionally are just doing the most atrocious things. And there's still so much war, and there's nuclear capability, and we have Earth disasters and climate change, and all kinds of things going on. And a lot of the other beings from the other planets, people who are not humans, they're really very, very aware of Earth, and they're very concerned about Earth, and particularly about the human component, and how terribly wrong that's going in some places in the world, and how we could really wipe out all life on Earth if we start using our nuclear weapons, which we're just a hairbreadth away from sometimes. So they may be helping more and more people to have the extraterrestrial genetics, to be hybrids who are living here. I wouldn't be surprised. And one indication of this type of thing is that there are, as you probably have heard, a lot of star children. And have you heard about that?
Yeah.
Right.
And and they are apparently all over the world, I hear. And so they are, and I don't know if we would specifically call them hybrids, or if somehow those souls have been inspired by some of these star beings or extraterrestrials to really help out on Earth. See, a hybrid would actually have extraterrestrial genetics. A star child or star seed adult might not have the extraterrestrial genetics, but they might have contact with these very high-minded extraterrestrials and be very encouraged in helping out here on the Earth. So I think that this is increasing, as far as I can tell, there are more star children around now, who of course will be growing up, more of them around now than there have been, or at least that we've known of before. Now it is sort of a feature that we can know about, whereas maybe it never was really known about before. But I would guess that they're increasing. And indeed, I hope so. I really do, because I think we need a lot of help.
Yeah.
Yeah, so when you say we need a lot of help, have any of them shared with you what their specific mission was?
Oh, yes, all 8 of them did. Basically, to put it in a quick phrase, they're here to upgrade the consciousness of humanity. I'll say that again since there's been a shuffling of people there. These hybrids are here with the main mission of upgrading humanity, upgrading the consciousness of humanity, and helping humanity to realize that we are really not separate from each other human beings and animals and life forms here on Earth, that we are one. And not only that, but we are one with the other beings in the universe. The universe and universes, I should say, are full of intelligent life, and we just have not been told about that yet. But some of you know that because you do actually get visited, and you do have rapport and relationships with some of them, which I think is absolutely wonderful. And no doubt you do too. So we know, some of us do know that there are other intelligent, wonderful beings, life forms of various types in the universe. And hopefully that's why your group exists, and that's why I like to talk to groups and give lectures and so forth, is to just bit by bit just bring this out a little bit more. And so we are really, the hybrids say, we are one with all of reality, not only the conscious beings, but all the life forms. And we are all with everything, with the planets, with the stars, with the moon, with the sun, with the blades of grass, with everything. It's just that we've been conditioned to think that we are separate.
Okay, Barb,
Yeah,
very good.
so they're here to upgrade.
Very good. Okay, we got 3 more. This is Andy again. Go ahead.
Hello, I'm back.
Hi, Andy.
This is very interesting. I have another hybrid question for you.
Okay.
It seems, I think I came up with a little bit of the answer myself, but I'd like to see if you can verify that.
Okay.
What I'd like to know is, it seems like a lot of the scenarios that you've been talking about here all lead up back to the same thing. With these, the reproductive organs and the cells and whatnot, and the embryos and all that, they all end up with human mothers. And then the babies are taken away from them, and sometimes the mothers are shown them at a later date, sometimes they're not. What I'd like to know is, are there any different scenarios in which some of these hybrids have non-human mothers? If there is, I don't think they'd be the ones on this planet, so I think I kind of figured out the ones here have the human mothers.
That's right. There's sort of a two-part answer to a two-part question. I have heard from other people who've had more experience with the ETs than I have, although I've had some. But I've heard that there are sometimes hybrid children who are born to extraterrestrial mothers. Now, not all ET types can do reproducing in that kind of reproductive manner, but some of them apparently can. And in that case, the hybridization would probably be had, well, I know of 2 ways. that it happens. One is that sperm is taken from men here on Earth and then implanted into that extraterrestrial female, and she'll be pregnant and have a hybrid child. Another method, and I know plenty of men who've experienced these two kinds of things, I've worked with them, that a man will be taken for an experience and ushered into a room and will mate with an extraterrestrial female. Now, usually that experience will begin with the extraterrestrial woman looking like a very attractive human woman, so the man will be drawn to her. And then sometimes soon after the act, or even during the copulation, the image will fade off, the screen image, and it will be apparent that this is an extraterrestrial being. So I had one man, this was, oh my goodness, back in the 1990s, one man, we did a regression, and he was taken on board, and he was shown this absolutely ravishingly gorgeous, exotic woman, thinking she was a human woman. And during the act, which was done for her to be impregnated by this human man, the image faded, and she was a totally reptilian woman. Well, this man, I mean, we're sort of laughing, but the poor man was so traumatized by that,
I bet he went impotent after that, huh?
he did. He
He
did.
turned 80.
He did. This is a great big strapping 6'4" man,
Well, that was it for
manly
him.
man. But I don't know if he was actually impotent, but his wife certainly noticed that he didn't want to get close to her
Oh.
for years after that, until it was about 12 years. And, you know, she was not happy about that. And he felt embarrassed and, you know, just very self-conscious, and he couldn't explain it, because he used to be a perfectly sexual man, and then suddenly he wasn't. But he didn't consciously remember that experience. But when we did the regression, and he found out what the trauma came from, and we kind of worked on the trauma after that, then he went back into good functioning with his wife. So that was great.
Okay,
Yeah.
thank you, Barb, thank you.
Thank you.
This is an X-rated program.
Yeah.
It's turning into one.
Yeah.
You should know us around here.
Okay.
Hello,
My-
Parade.
My question is, your last statement leads into my question. How can we go about getting a past life human or a past life ET regression? And then do you have an email address we could contact?
I'm gonna get that later.
Okay,
I'll get that later.
Yes to both the,
Just, Barb, just answer her question. I'll get that with you before you go off. Go ahead.
okay. Yes, there are a number of people around the United States who do regressions, and that could be anybody who does regression work could very easily take somebody back into a past life, if that's what the person wants. And a number of us, not as many, but there are quite a few people around the U.S. who can do regression work to go back to extraterrestrial experiences. Some people, like myself, we do both, depending on what the person coming to us wants. Yes. Now, a way to find those people, one way is to go to the website of the group named Free, FREE, and that stands for Foundation for Research into Extraterrestrial Encounters. The Foundation for Research into Extraterrestrial Encounters. I think if you wait about a week from now, so let's say after the 1st February of 2016, their new website will be up, and that website address is experiencer.org. Experiencer.org.
Okay. Are you giving your
and
email, Barb?
Yes, email is Barbara _line Lamb, LAMB, at Verizon.net.
Okay. Hold on. I know you want to get more. We're gonna let Scott ask
I'll
the question.
repeat that.
Oh, wait a minute, we're gonna get that at the end, I'll take care of that. We're gonna let Scott ask the question, and then we're gonna get your emails, and I know you got 2 books, Alien Contact and the Crop Circles, and how people can get a hold of that. We'll do that towards the end in a few minutes, okay?
Yeah, you can have my website if you'd like to. That's a way of ordering those books.
Right.
Yeah, Crop
Okay.
Circles Revealed and Alien Experiences. Those are the 2 books. And then most recently, Meet the Hybrids.
Right. There we go.
But I can give that to you later if you want as well.
Here, do you mean to get that out of
It's on the flyer.
Here.
Yeah, hi, my name is Scott.
Hold on.
Hi, Scott.
Scott.
Wait a minute.
Oh, we got a problem.
We gotta erase this. Yeah, correct. I was gonna get that at the end. Don't worry about that. Email.
Yeah,
I
she's
know, but I
right.
was gonna get that at the end.
She's copying his story.
All right. All ready?
Okay, go ahead.
Hi, I'm Scott.
Hi, Scott.
My question is, are hybrids interbreeding with our society right now? We don't know it.
Well, do you mean the hybrids on Earth or
Yes.
hybrids on the ship?
Hybrids
Hybrids on Earth? Yes. Most of these hybrids, we know most of the 8 in our book are married or coupled, definitely couple bonded. And so some of them have children, some of them probably will have children. One of them who's not married or coupled, he's a young man, he may be married at some point. So you're probably wondering if those children will be hybrids.
Yes.
Is that right?
Yes.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I don't have a real clear answer for that. I do know that one woman who is a hybrid here on Earth, she has a son whom I have not met him, but she is sure that he is a hybrid. Now, whether that's because he was her son and that got passed down through the family genetics, or whether he was made a hybrid himself, we don't know that yet. Maybe at some point we'll be able to determine that. But the other ones who have children, they're not necessarily hybrids. Some may be, some may not be.
Okay, very good. Okay, that's it for the questions. You got your email out and how the people can get to your book, right? You already did that?
Say that one more time, Barbara. What
Can you hear me?
Did you get that? Are you talking to me?
Yeah, I'm telling you.
Oh,
You got your
okay.
email? You got your email out? Hold it, guys. And the book, the 2 books how the people can get your book. You got all that out?
Well, let's say it again, because it was there was sort of a shuffle
Yeah, I know.
going on at your end. Okay.
You got your emails out.
sorry.
Let's start again, okay?
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Ray, let her
Okay,
start the
the
whole thing.
email is
Go ahead.
Barbara _line Lamb, LAMB, at Verizon.net. I could also give my website. How about that?
Go
Okay.
ahead, go ahead.
Website is www.barbaralamb, MFT, that's for marriage and family therapist.com. So Barbara Lamb, MFT.com. And on that website, there's quite a number of different aspects of my interesting work. And you can also order the Alien Experiences book, which is 25 cases of different types of ET experiences that have come into my work, or Crop Circles Revealed, a very interesting book about the crop circle phenomenon, beautiful photos in it. And I do not have it on my website yet, but Amazon.com has it, which is the hybrid book called Meet the Hybrids by two of us authors. The man is Miguel, Miguel, Mendonca, Mendonca, and Barbara Lamb. So the last book is about the hybrids, these wonderful people who are living here on Earth and serving so very, very benevolently. Yeah, and understanding so much more about the universe and many of the life forms out there. Some of the good ones, like you have, Ray,
Yeah.
coming to you. Don't you think you have the very good ones?
Oh, yeah. I'm gonna show you one, and I'm gonna say something else. This is number 34, the Vulcans, from the planet Xantar. They're from the 11th dimension. They're anywhere from 5'7" to 6'2", and the one I'm showing here was about 6'2", and it was pretty cool. This is what he looks like.
Oh, okay, wonderful. Yeah,
That's the craft.
nice pictures too.
Yeah, I had a real
Yeah, good-looking guy.
Yeah, they're probably the most emotional out of all 34 in hospitality that I was shocked at. I'll kind of tell you what happened a little bit. When I was sitting in the chairs with this leader, there was 11 other Vulcans in there, and he had this V-shaped table. He's got like a V on his suit. They're dark green, they got 3 fingers, and they're pointed ears. It's like a black hair, black top, with a brown tight jumpsuit. They're built real good, black boots. These guys speak great English or language, other language.
Okay.
And I was sitting there, and he looks at me. They call me Raymond too. They know what I've been doing and talking about, you know. But anyway, he says, "Are you thirsty?" And I said, "Yeah." And he said, "We have water. We have your coffee." So this, yeah. So this one Vulcan went to the wall, and all these buttons were on the side of the wall. And I saw him push this button, and he pulls out this weird-looking cup. I can see the steam, and walks over, sets it down on the V table, had cream and everything. I went to drink it. It was the best coffee I ever drank. Well, I wasn't hungry, and then right after he says, "Are you hungry?" And I said, "No." And he said, "We have your pizza." And I had to go to the bathroom. It was the first time ever. So the leader and 2 Vulcans followed me, and this door slid, because we're gonna have this down here the way you do it. And then there was this like, John with this weird looking commode and all that. Anyway, it slides closed, I'm inside, in there doing my thing, and I thought I was screwed, because I couldn't find any toilet paper. And all of a sudden, this beautiful mist just took care of everything. And then, seriously, and then I
Oh,
stood up.
nice.
Then I stood up and kind of turned to the left to the wall, and it turned into a mirror. And that's when the door opened, and all three of them were out there smiling, because I looked at the leader and I said, can I take this home? I can make millions. And he goes, Raymond, you're going to be using things like this pretty soon. And then we went back
Really?
in the room and talked. Yeah. But I wanted to share that with you. And
Sounds
now,
Nice.
like a day.
and now I want to say something to you. It's a pleasure and honor to have you here. I love Sandy to death. I think what you did here tonight was awesome. And would you guys like to have her
thank
back
you.
again?
Yeah!
Wonderful, and I really enjoyed your questions. They were good questions.
I told you,
Relevant.
Thank you.
these people ask questions. I don't care your date of birth, they're gonna ask you, you know? But
Yeah.
they ask good questions too. And
Oh, that's great.
this was an
I
awesome
love that.
show. And I really thank you again. You take care,
You're very
sweetie.
welcome.
Thank you.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
We'll get together. We'll get
Thank you,
together.
Barbara.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Take care, sweetie.
Okay.
Bye-bye. Yeah, that was cool.
Hey, Ray, I think
Time
that
to-
missed it was just a bidet, they had a bidet.
Oh, there was no
It
bidet.
was a misty bidet.
A misty
Well,
bidet. There you go.
Bidet.
Yeah, they have them too, you know.
Yeah.
Okay, we're still
You
going?
think the French
Yep.
guy?
They gotta wipe their
All
ass
right.
too.
I just want to say a few things. March the 7th will be Cherry Wow.
All right.
April 4th will be Alfred Weber. Alfred had a switch tonight with her because he's in this Iowa caucus thing. He's actually working on this.
He's conducting
And
part of it.
he said April 4th, no problem. So that's what I got lined up. I got some people that are new that you guys haven't heard of. I'm working on them for like May, June, if we're still here. Because this,
If we're still here.
and the only reason I say that,
Where are we
seriously,
going?
it's really moving fast. It
Do we
really
have
is.
first class tickets?
Huh?
Do we get first class tickets if something does?
And blink of an eye, you're on there.
All right.
Don't worry about it.
Who did you say was coming in March?
March is Sherry Wow, I had her here before. And April 4th is Alfred Weber. You guys asked great questions anyway, you did it tonight too. But, this is the first time for her, but I seen the video on her. I'm gonna get it on my YouTube channel. So you guys can
I'll help you with that.
Or you'll do it, but I mean, I'm gonna get it on there. Yeah, he does my.
I also posted one of her videos on your Facebook page too.
Oh, and also, speaking of videos, we found 23 of my past videos that Ian will have up in, what, 2 months?
2 or 3 months. It's gonna take me a while. A lot of videos to edit because I gotta. Well, I can't say it, but it's just gonna take some editing.
Yeah, I thought they were lost, but. there was-
Those are your meetings that, from the bowling alley?
Yeah, back in the bowling alley, and
All right.
even with Babalu. UFO
Yeah, yeah.
and all that.
The lost meetings.
The lost meetings.
The lost meeting.
UFO paranormal.
But, that's it, guys, and if you got any questions, we'll mangle, you know how we do it. Thanks a lot.
Yeah, we did.
Thank you.
Ray.